Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. In the last part, we went through the entirety of the wall market sequence, and now we're here right in front of Don Corneo himself.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I hate Don Corneo's character, but this is probably one of my favorite themes in the game.
It is annoyingly catchy.
Very catchy.
Alright, so now Corneo's gonna choose one of the girls to go with him to his room for the night, and yeah. Now, if you don't get picked here, which is, depending on how you go about it, very likely, you go into the room on the right of the upper floor with the two guards behind him. You reveal yourself, you have a fight, and I think there's a chest that contains something you can get there. I'll grab that later because I can come back here. But for right now, I am getting picked here. The notable odds for getting picked are entirely dependent on the combination of items you got, and I actually found a guide that gives me the exact numbers right here. There are 251 combinations that will give you Tifa as the winner, 24 that will give you Aerith, and only 4 that allows Cloud to win.
So that would be the best possible pairings, right? So... Oh wait, no, so that could be all except for, like, one slightly less good items. Like, let's say you got the blonde wig, the silk dress, but you only got, like, the digestive. Instead of, or like, you only got the regular cologne instead of the sexy cologne, for example. That would get you not picked because it's the worst item?
Every combination I'm looking at for Cloud to win needs the silk dress, the blonde wig, and the sexy cologne at the least. You can get away with a ruby tiara as long as you have the bikini briefs, but otherwise you need the diamond tiara and above to guarantee yourself this. If you have the diamond tiara as well as the sexy cologne, blonde wig, and silk dress, you don't even need the underwear. You're good at that point.
Oh, that's right, because there's like 6 items, isn't there?
Yeah. But yeah, Corneo definitely knows things, especially in regards to Barret, so we should probably get that information out of him.
I love this whole segment right here so much.
Oh, I didn't understand this sequence when I was really young playing this game, but as an adult, this is just hilarious. Oh! Yeah, talk, Don. Ordered by who? Oh, trust me, with us here, your next fate is worse than death.
I'll rip him off. Wow, Aerith, that's a really cold threat from you.
I think I brought it up last part of the part before. It's been a bit since we last recorded one, as usual for these playthroughs. But it's lines like that that make me really hate what they kind of did to Aerith in some of the extended stuff, as well as even Kingdom Hearts, where they made her just very calm and Messiah-like in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
She's really rowdy in the game itself, and I love her for that.
She's super sassy, and I love it. I also just really like it.
Oh, also, one thing I forgot to mention. If you say, yes, his name is Barret to the Don after you get picked, that's actually +5 to Barret, but at this point he's far enough behind I don't have to worry, plus I just love that dialogue. But yeah, they're planning on destroying the main supports beam in Sector 7 just to take out Avalanche. Which means the entirety of Sector 7, including the slums itself, is gonna go down. Literally.
And people are gonna die. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Killing thousands of civilians for the sake of killing 7-ish?
Yeah, 7 or 8. That's kinda overkill. Why do you have that?
It's
Actually, I guess the girls
it's his dungeon.
Actually, now that I think about it, I guess the girls that he plays with probably has to go somewhere.
Oof.
Oh god.
That's grim.
Back into that, like, BDSM.
Ooh.
Oof. That's scary.
Hello, President Shinra. I guess Heidegger's in charge of it, and he put the Turks in charge of that entire operation. Great. Now, this is Reeve. Reeve 2SD. He's probably one of the most interesting people in the Shinra group. Just because he seems to actually have a head on his shoulders?
I'd say my 2 favorite characters that are involved in Shinra would be Reeve and Scarlet.
Scarlet is interesting as well, even though a problem I'll go into later on with Shinra as a whole is that I think they do the faceless corporation angle pretty well, but the actual people in charge I think are mostly fairly forgettable.
I mean, I don't really understand Heidegger very much, but
He's just a gun-toting maniac.
Ugh.
But yeah, despite Reeve asking, they're still gonna go through with this, even though it's really not economically sound, especially. However, the president does have a good plan here. Report Avalanche did it, especially after we bombed the 2 reactors. It's believable. Alright, now we fall down here in the sewer, and whoever you talk to first actually gets plus 3 points in the dating mechanics. However, if you just try to leave up the ladder if you don't want either of them, they will just... Oh, not up the ladder. Up the ladder, no, I'm right up there. You'll just get no changes to them. Still, though, we're gonna smell like shit after this. Holy crap.
Yeah, because they're in the sewer system. How gross.
Yep. However, we're not alone down here.
This is This is a fun battle. I like this boss.
Turns out Don Corneo has a little pet. This is Apps. 1800 HP, 240 XP, 22 AP, 253 gil. Weak to fire, so I recommend using that first. And its main attack is the Tsunami Attack, which does more damage to it as it does to us, as you just saw there. But there is a reason for that. The Tsunami Attack comes from 2 different directions, behind him and behind us. Whoever it comes from behind, it'll do more damage to.
Yeah. At least it's not like the Final Fantasy IX one, where the enemy guards against water damage and you end up taking more than half your health. I hate that fight. I hate that fight so much.
It also, in a way, kind of reminds me of, what was the name of it? The weird monster Zidane fights against the first Black Waltz. I can't remember its name.
That's the Sea Lion.
Okay, yeah. For some reason, this fight always reminded me of that. Maybe it's just because it's out of...
I guess so, but what gets it for me is the Tsunami Attack.
True.
Because it doesn't really... I don't think it knows any ice moves. Oh.
Yeah. Overall, though, this is kind of a problem with a lot of PlayStation Final Fantasies. Early on in the game, there's so little you can do, both in terms of what you have available to you and your own techniques, that most of the boss strategies end up being the same, aside from just spamming the weakness. For instance, Apps here, use fire on whoever has it, and then use limit breaks. Also, this is Tifa's limit break. You get a slot. There are 3 options on the slot: hit, miss, and yeah. Miss just means you get the attack gets canceled. I believe hit means that you just hit them with the standard attack, and yeah, I believe is double damage?
Crit. I think it acts as though it's a critical hit.
Yeah, yeah, double just damage. The first limit break for her is Beat Rush, which she runs up and punches the enemy, and it deals, I think, 1.25 times normal damage. So,
yeah.
Getting the is
so actually, I've actually wondered this. When you're trying to unlock new limit breaks, like for example, I think it's Dolphin Blow or something like that, where you have to do a certain number of limit breaks. If you miss one, does that cancel it out, or do you have to just hit the most recent limit break to count towards?
So you mean
let's say you are getting the first level 2 limit break, which is, I don't remember exactly what it is. I think it's the Swift Kick or something. Water Kick. And let's say you miss Beat Rush, but you get the Somersault. Does it count? Does it count, or does it not count because you missed the first one?
It does not count. Whenever you're going for the next level limit break that requires using a limit break, you need to use the previous limit break. So, for instance, going for her second level 2 limit break, you need to use Water Kick 7 times.
Okay.
Specifically.
Okay.
Also, Cloud got his second level 1 limit break, Cross Slash, which is actually one of my favorite in the game. We'll use it, I believe, in one of the upcoming boss fights, but it does 3.25 times normal damage and has a chance of inflicting paralysis.
It's also really good in Smash Bros.
Yes, scarily so.
And these little crab things here are called Caesar. 120 HP, 0 MP, 23 HP, 2 AP, and 55 gil. Weak to ice, so if you have ice, use it. They can drop tranquilizers, but it's a pretty low chance, and you most likely have a bunch of those by this point, because I believe you can buy them. So,
yeah.
Before this point.
Yeah. The first time you can buy tranquilizers and why am I forgetting the name of the other items? The other ones is at the Wall Market item store.
Oh, interesting. At 25% or less of its max XP, they'll use 2 attacks in a row.
Usually they won't get much of a chance to do that just because you can probably kill them in one hit usually, but...
Yeah, they don't have a lot of HP.
I say as I think I just did it there. Now, you may have noticed on the map before that battle, we saw a yellow materia on the ground, and this is one you want to pick up. This is Steal. From this point onwards, we can actually start stealing items from things, and unlike other Final Fantasies, I think Steal in this game is entirely level-based. In terms of the chances are relative to you compared to the enemy. Let me see if I can find a confirmation on that before the next battle.
Wow, I have never heard of that.
Yeah.
The Steal it's worth noting that the Steal algorithms are different in, like, literally every game, so...
Yeah. Looking at it, yeah, it's level-based. I'll probably post the exact formula and the usual little call-out things I do. Either way, next enemy is the usual for the series, Sahajin. 150 HP, 30 EXP, 3 AP, 89 gil. They actually aren't weak to electricity like some previous ones have been, so you don't want to do that. In fact, you probably just want to use ice or just physically attack. You can steal hypers from them, and they'll drop either potions or hypers. Again, dropping is a fairly low chance, so stealing is your best bet. Notable though, I think this game does this, I'm trying to remember. If an enemy has 2 steals, which I don't think any do throughout the game, I believe the game might default to 1 per battle. I think I might be thinking of Final Fantasy V, actually.
I think it defaults to 1 per... I think you're remembering correctly.
Either way, you can only steal 1 of an item from someone at a time. For instance, if I stole hyper from...
similar... It's similar to 6 in that sense, where each enemy has a set item and you can only steal 1. So...
With that said, though, the best steal system is still 10s.
God, I love 10 steal system. Screw 9 steal system.
Yeah. Either way, welcome to the train graveyard. This area actually scared me when I was little for some reason.
It's hard to maneuver. Again, that's something very interesting is that you can kind of tell it was their first time dealing with this, with the 3D models and stuff, because navigation can be quite hard in places like this, because there's a lot of things that blend in with each other.
Yeah, and it also helps that some of the layering can be a bit iffy with the way your eyes work compared to everything else. 8 and 9, I think, did a lot of a better job diversifying the color palette in such a way that you can tell where things are layered, except for when they're not supposed to look like that, you know, if that makes sense. More labyrinthine areas are more labyrinthine intentionally in those games.
Shoutouts to Gulag Mountain.
As well as, oh shit, what was the one name of that one area in 8? The one called the Tomberries. I had some trouble going through that my first time, but nowadays it's just pretty simple. Either way, next new enemy is a...
Dean Glow. 120 HP, 35 XP, 4 AP, 70 gil. They absorb ice, and they take half damage from lightning. And they drop Graviballs, but notable here, you can steal ethers from them. So if you're shy on MP or you want some quick money early on in the game, these are a very nice source of it. It's a 50% steal.
Yes, in fact, I completely recommend hanging around here to steal a couple of ethers before continuing on the game, just so you can have that money. Because as I mentioned before, 7 is one of those few games where money is actually fairly tight in early game, particularly if you're trying to buy weapons for everyone or get certain materia.
Just master your materia.
Yeah, notable though, there is one particular enemy I'm going to be looking for in here in a moment. Not in this particular area of the train graveyard, it's in this one, I believe, exclusively. But one particular enemy here has an enemy I want to steal. Also note, you could actually have come to this area earlier, because we're actually just to the east of where we get dropped off from the train after the Maka reactor raids. Oh. So you can actually come over here, and there actually is a different enemy set, I believe, for coming over here before fighting apps. Namely, the one enemy I'm looking for will not spawn. Not that I would be able to do much with it, just because it wouldn't have the item I'm looking for, but eh.
There's a ton of missables in this game, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of missable items in the early game. I'd say overall, the Final Fantasy with the most missable items, just due to how some things work, is either 8 or 9, because...
9 has so many missable items, it's insane.
Just due to the fact that Disc 4 of either game shuts off a lot of areas.
I can't say much about 8, because I haven't finished it yet, so...
It does almost the same thing as 9.
That's stinky.
Yeah. Either way, here is the last occasion I can actually run into this enemy, and I'm just going to be running around for a little bit to try and find it. I think it might be the rarest enemy in the area, but you'll know which one it is because it's very unique looking. This is Eligor. 300 HP, 36 XP, 4 AP, 120 gil. No real weaknesses of note. However, we have a 12.5% base chance of stealing the striking staff from it, a new weapon for Aerith. It can also drop echo screens, so that's useful, I guess. But the striking staff is useful for Aerith, not only because it's just a better weapon, but it's her best weapon for a good while until we reach a certain military installation later on.
Huh. Okay. Well, what makes it so good? Is it just like a really high attack, or...?
It's just much higher in attack. For instance, let me see if I can find the exact stats here really quick. It has 32 base attack compared to her starting 12, and in the next couple weapons we find for her rather, only have 16 and 22.
So I'm actually wondering, is this one of the best ways to get her Great Gospel to show up because she'll have a much better time killing enemies?
Yeah, theoretically. Overall, Aerith is going to have more trouble killing enemies than most characters just because her physical attack, I think, if I'm recalling correctly, is just straight up the weakest in the game. If you're trying to kill enemies with her, you're probably going to be using magic with her more than anything. And admittedly, the striking staff also gives more magic than most of her equipment through until a certain military installation at 7 boosted magic. But yeah, it also has some good materia slots. Single set of link slots and 2 singles.
That is some good stuff right there. And
yep.
Somersault is a nice ability.
Yeah,
Does it deal 1.5 times no more damage?
Let me see if I can get the exact. Somersaults 1 3/8 times. However, the notable thing, that doesn't sound like much damage, but the notable thing about Tifa's limit breaks is that they're all on a single set of slots. Once you set yourself up to the next level, you still have access to it. So for instance, we brought up Water Kick earlier, her first level 2 limit break. Once we have that, we can still use Beat Rush and Somersault because you have to go through all 3 slots to use it.
Tifa, I think, has one of the strongest limit breaks in the game.
Theoretically, yes, in terms of base power. There are a couple of breaks I think are overall stronger, but she can definitely be useful with that. But looks like the battle here at the not the guard tower, the support pillar's already begun, which is not good.
That is a really high tower.
Looks like Barrett's still fighting strong up there, though.
I see you.
Uh-oh.
What is that, Wedge? Oh.
Wedge? Oh.
Oh, he's not okay.
Oh. Oh my.
Okay, like, let's be real.
Yeah, he would not be that intact, I think.
Let's be real here. That tower is about 300 feet in the air at its highest point, and that's being generous. So
he would be dead on impact.
He would be dead on impact. Because that is well beyond the red zone.
I think that's the first Final Fantasy character we've seen in an RPG that's died from falling.
Can't take fall damage in RPGs, what the heck?
God damn. Like, previous Final Fantasy games, we had people die from using their energy too much to summon Meteor. None of the characters really died in 3 aside from that one chick who got shot with a poison arrow. By Final Fantasy 2, we had someone get crushed by a rock, I suppose that's pretty dark too. But damn! There is an item store here though, because I don't think at this point you can actually head into the Sector 7 slums. You're railroaded into going up that tower at this point. Well, I guess we should go up there, though I am going to save.
I'm quitting tomorrow. Good for you, Mr. Shinra officer.
Yep. Also, I just realized, because I actually forgot to have Eligor in the standard enemy list, I'm going to be taking 2 enemies in a row here. Oh, Bakes. Oh, that's sad. He's limp. Oh, God. There are enemies up this climb of the tower. I don't usually run into them until this second screen here, though.
Are the enemies different for the different sectors of the tower?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't think so. Oh, hi, Jesse. Don't say lasts. Oh. God damn.
Dang, wow, this got really meta really fast.
This got dark. Either way, next enemy is the Arrow Combatant, 190 HP, 40 EXP, 4 AP, 40 AP. God, at this point in the game, that'd be delicious. 110 gil. Not really weak to anything, but they can... Brain, work with me here. You can both steal and have potions get dropped from them. They are harder to hit in the air. However, if you hit them enough times, the propeller stops and they're just on the ground, at which point they're open season, really. I do believe they are susceptible to one more kind of magic when they're on the ground, but we don't have access to that magic for a while yet, so... Eh.
Magic is such a strange thing in this game because there's so many different properties.
Yeah, also I found the exacts. When it's in the air, it's speed and evasion are higher, but when it's on the ground, it's magic and magic defense double.
Wow. That is surprising.
However, it's notable that it doesn't have any magical attacks.
Hey.
So, pointless! And now they're going to give us a chance to equip ourselves, and I'm going to do just that in terms of what everyone's looking like. This is what we're all looking like equipment-wise. No accessories yet. We don't actually get accessories for a bit. We do have a mithril armlet on Barrett in particular, and this is what everyone's materia is looking like. I gave him cover just so we can work on his limit break sooner, because he is a bit behind now to Cloud and Aerith. Not Cloud and Aerith, Cloud and Tifa.
I actually really like this segment of the game. Anything that involves the Turks is such a wonderful segment.
Yeah. Especially Reno here. Oh boy, he pressed the button. Okay, it would be stupid. But could you imagine if this was one of those things where the moment you press the button it explodes? Game over.
Over. Oh my god.
Okay, time for Reno, and this boss can be a bit of a thing. First off, you go through the stats.
So, Reno has 1000 HP, 290 EXP, 22 AP, and 500 gil. Takes half damage from lightning, so I wouldn't suggest using Bolt on him. So, and drops ethers 100% of the time, but something really interesting about this fight is that he likes to use Pyramid on one of your characters, effectively trapping them. And I think he can use them on all 3 characters, and that can actually give you a game over. I don't quite remember.
That is correct. Essentially, whenever a character is trapped under a pyramid, they're technically considered out of the battle, kind of like Sneeze in Final Fantasy VI. So what you want to do is, whenever one of your characters gets trapped in a pyramid, attack that pyramid. It doesn't have much HP. It'll go down usually 1 or 2 shots, just to get them back in the battle. And I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think if a character's in the pyramid at the end of a battle, they don't get the experience points. Do not quote me on that,
I don't... No, I think they do. I'm not entirely sure, though. Pretty sure they do, though.
For the most part, though, aside from the pyramid system, this fight isn't that hard. As long as you keep that managed, you can take down the 1000 HP pretty easily, especially if you spam limit breaks early on, thanks to their priority. However, he can also paralyze you with his Electro Mag Rod attack, so you want to watch out for that, even though at the same time, that's preferable to him using Pyramid.
Yeah, Pyramid is definitely a really annoying attack.
And he's out of here. Great. Well, here's hoping we can do something about that bomb.
It would be really awful if there was a time limit on that fight.
Oh god, no, don't even. That brings back another memory from this game that we'll see much later on. That's one of those sections where I always forget I can move. It's not a normal time bomb. It's a super time bomb. Hello, Sung.
It's like saying this is more than just a reactor.
Actually, I forget, is this the first time we've seen Sung?
Yes. We have not seen Sang until this point.
Yeah, this is Sung. He's the not exactly the leader of the Turks, because there is someone above him in rank. Technically, I believe Heidegger, but he's basically the leader of the Turks. Oh God, Aerith. Wait. Oh, that means they probably raided the bar, because I forgot to mention earlier, but Tifa did ask Aerith to go get Marlene, so here's hoping that worked out.
Oh, that's not good.
Okay, she's alright. Okay, good. Yeah, we probably should get out of here.
That's an understatement, Aerith.
Oh God, an FMV. Oh no.
Oh!
That helicopter pilot was lucky. So guys, what are we gonna do? I'll just give you a crate. Never mind. Yeah, let's just get on Barrett's back because he's big and beefy.
Line. Let's go.
This is greatly unfortunate, but it's the only way we have to get out of here. How many people? How many people? Just to get us? Hundreds easily, maybe even thousands.
Thousands. Midgar is very densely populated.
Yeah. I think, if I'm recalling, not only just in terms of like population, but size, it is the largest city in the world. God damn. And with that, Final Fantasy VII now easily has the largest death toll in the series.
Yeah, that even... Are you sure about that?
It's pretty close, because
Kefka ruins the world.
At the same time, though, the only people we see outright die during that sequence is 6 is the people who get crunched by the plates in that one scene. I think
Crunched by the plate. And I guess we also see, like, all the parents in Mobliz,
That's really about it. Not many. That's actually a thing I have against 6. Despite Kefka doing that, not much actually changes in the world. In fact, some places get safer.
There is the poisoning of Doma, though. So
yeah, Doma. Yeah, that's a good point. We never learned how many people were in Doma. There's also, I guess, 3 of the cities that get destroyed in 9.
Bermesia, Clara, although Clara is not that much heavily populated, and Lindblom. Lindblom is, I think, the most densely populated.
Yeah. Understandably, though, Barrett is pissed and sad at the same time. He's mad.
Yeah. No one knows if Marlene's okay.
Yeah, Marlene, let alone... Something I wish they would have expanded on, maybe the remake will, is exactly how long he's known Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. Because they almost make it seem like they've been together only a short time, but the way that he talks about them, it's like he's known them for years.
And all of the members of Avalanche that were with us have passed away. Crushed by the plate.
Yeah, if they weren't dead already. That Wedge was easily, Biggs was probably, and Jesse, they leave it a little more vague, but I'm thinking she was dead even before the plane went down. Barra brings up a good point, though. Even with Shinra and Avalanche basically defeated, our fight's not over. We can't let Shinra get away with this. It would be one thing. It would be one thing if they just took out Avalanche, like say they bombed the bar, and we would still want revenge for that. But this...
That's going overboard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is Shinra. This is a corporate... This is the place that has complete control over Midgar. So, they probably wouldn't have much trouble going into Sector 7 and raiding the bar.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, sending the Turks to do it.
Hell, historically, I believe Shinra did stuff like that. I'm thinking back to Crisis Core and some of the before Crisis stuff. They sent individual units in to take care of things. I guess President Shinra just wanted to be sure, but...
I was gonna say President Shinra had too much to drink that morning. He was like, alright, let's blow it up.
Whoa. Also, weird little sequence there. Cloud actually goes ahead of Barrett and Tifa, and until they rejoin you right here, they're actually considered out of the party? Also, Cloud, you had one of your freakouts again there, man? Come on. You alright? By the way, I actually want to go back to the playground, because you may have noticed it during the cutscene, but there is a command materia up here that I want to grab. This is the sense materia. It's scan, shows HP, I think MP, weaknesses. It's not too useful if you played the game a lot like I have, but for first playthroughs it could be useful.
It can be good for reminding you. There are, of course, many enemies that doesn't work on, but,
Yep. And now it's time for the final enemy for the part. This is the Hell House. This is actually the one I talked about last part briefly. 450 HP, 44 XP, 6 AP, 250 gil. No real weaknesses, but I just prefer to use fire on it because it feels nice to set a house on fire. However, the notable thing about it is that it has two fairly powerful attacks. I believe they are Suicide Drop, which is going to do about halfway through its HP, which will just deal damage to your entire party. And, what is it? Hellbomber, I think?
Hellbomber, yeah.
Hellbomber does a lot of damage. As you can see, once you get through about half of its HP, it transforms into that form, where I don't think anything really changes, because I think it gets access to... actually, no, I think the entire attack loadout changes. I think now it has Hell Press, which is very, very damaging.
That's... oof, scary.
Yeah. Either way, with that, we're going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we'll be heading back to Aerith's house so we can see if everything's alright over there. See you guys then.